welcome back. Today I am here with my April TBR. If you are new to this channel, then you should know that I do tend to read a lot, and I also tend to have ambitious TBRs. This sort of gives you an idea of the things that I'm probably going to pick up, the things that I'm pulling from. However, I probably will not get to all of these, and I will probably pick up some other things that are not on this list. But with that sort of caveat, let's get into the things that I'm planning on reading in April. In the first couple weeks of April, I'm really excited to be participating in the Fantasyathon, which is hosted by quite a number of people, including Julie over at Pages and Pens. I will link information for that in the video description down below if you guys want to go check it out. And I also have a Fantasyathon TBR video, which I will link up above. So for the books that are on that TBR, I'm just going to briefly show you what they are and not go into great detail. If you want to hear more about those books and why I'm picking them up for the challenges in the readathon, go watch that TBR video. So the first book that I have for the Fantasyathon TBR is Red Sister by Mark Lawrence. Really hoping I get to that one. I am also hoping to pick up The Everlasting Rose by Danielle Clayton. You know I had to join the Fantasyathon TBR. I mean, fantasy is like my jam. Next up, I have Trail of Lightning by Rebecca Roanhorse. Then I would like to continue on with The Gilded Wolves by Roshni Chokshi, so this might be on that TBR as well. Then for a book that I started and put down that I'm going to be picking up again, I have The Queens of Innisleer by Tessa Gratton. Also on that TBR is Wondersmith, The Calling of Morrigan Crow. And finally, to round out my very ambitious Fantasyathon TBR, we have The Wise Man's Fear by Patrick Rothfuss. I will probably be listening to this on audiobook as well as The Queens of Innisleer, but I'm going to be doing this one as a buddy read with Leanna over at Leanna's Library. I've been meaning to read this for like a year, so it's happening in April. Moving on, I have a couple of other books that I'm going to be picking up for buddy reads or group reads. The first one of those being When the Moon Was Ours by Anna Marie McLemore. I don't actually know what the plot of this is, but I have read one book by her and loved it and have really been wanting to continue on. So this has been on my TBR for a while, and it is the pick for the Dragons and Tea book club hosted by Melanie from Mel's the Yenny and Amy over at A Court of Crowns and Quills. So I'm really excited. This seems like the perfect opportunity to finally pick this book up, and I do own a copy, so I will be getting to that with the book club. And then, with Cami over at Cami's Corner, we're going to be continuing on in the Mara Dyer trilogy, which I'm excited about. We buddy read the first one, The Unbecoming of Mara Dyer, a couple months back, and now we're planning on picking up the sequel, which is The Evolution of Mara Dyer by Michelle Hodkin. This is like a YA thriller series, and both of us were surprised at how much we loved the first book, so I'm really excited to continue on and see how the rest of the trilogy goes. Of course, as usual, I do have some books that I need to get to for review. Some are higher priority than others. First up, I have two books that I am planning on starting in March, but I'm not sure that I'll finish them, so I'm gonna go ahead and put them on the April TBR. I still have about a week left in March as I'm filming this, but I don't see myself finishing either one of these. So, the first one is Around Harvard Square by C.J. Farley. This is an arc of a book that's coming out in April that was sent to me through Akashic Books. They do really interesting, diverse literature, and this one sounded really interesting to me. It's sort of a new adult novel that's supposed to be satirical and funny about people of color in their freshman year at Harvard. So I don't know exactly what to expect, but it's been blurbed by like Marlon James, so that's cool. So yeah, I'm gonna be picking this up. I may finish this in March, but I suspect that I will not, so this will probably be one that's gonna carry over into April. And then the other book is one that I was reached out to by the publisher to see if I'd be interested in reading it. This one did come out on March 5th, but I have an ARC copy. It's called Generation Citizen, The Power of Youth in Our Politics by Scott Warren. This is a nonfiction book written by a guy who's spent a lot of years working in political action and mobilizing young people, and so he kind of talks about what he thinks is happening among young people in American politics today. This is definitely something I'm very interested in, and this will be my nonfiction pick for the month. Next, I have 3 arcs of books that are coming out in May that I'm hoping to get to in April before the release date. The first one is something that was recently sent to me from the folks over at The Novel, which I'm really excited to read. I think it's going to be so much fun. This is called Amelia Westlake Was Never Here by Erin Go? something. And this one is coming out on May 19th. So this is a female-female queer romantic comedy set at an elite private school. It's about two girls who hate each other, but then end up having a romance develop as they work together to put on this sort of feminist hoax to expose harassment and inequality at their private school. I'm really excited for this. This hits a lot of things that I'm really into in terms of private schools and feminism. Oh, hello. Hi. Oh, okay.
Hello.
Hello. You want to come say hi?
Hello.
Oh, whoops. Oh.
Okay.
Do you have a phone?
Yeah, okay.
All done?
Yeah.
Okay. Go see Daddy. So I'm really excited for this one. I think it's going to be fun. I think it's the right time of year for romantic comedies, and I always like things set at elite private schools that deal with feminism, so I think this is probably going to be something I'm really going to enjoy. I'm excited to get to it. Then, of course, I was very, very excited when I got this. This is an arc of Kingsbane by Claire Legrand. This is the sequel to Furyborn, which was one of my favorite books of 2018. It's an epic new adult feminist fantasy that I am all about. I am just waiting on Overdrive to get the audiobook for Furyborn. I want to do kind of a reread before I get into this so that I kind of, because it's a little bit complicated, so I want to remind myself of stuff. So I'm pretty close to the top of the list for the audiobook, so I'm hoping to listen to that and then start Kingsbane. I don't know if I will finish it next month, but I might. If I get, I mean, if it's as good as the first one was, then I may very well finish it, so I'm excited for that one. And then the last May arc that I have that I want to get to is Bookish Boyfriends, The Boy Next Story by Tiffany Schmidt. Like I said, this one is coming out in May. It's coming out through Abrams Books, and I really enjoyed the first book in the series, Bookish Boyfriends. It came out last year, and I had read an arc of it and just thought it was so fun. The first one was this really fun YA sort of comedy, I guess, about this girl in high school who starts having her life line up with the books that they're reading in English class, like Romeo and Juliet, and there were a couple of other ones, and it was just really, really fun. So it's turning into a series, and this is the second book coming out, and this one includes Little Women and The Great Gatsby, and I just think it's going to be really fun, so I'm excited to pick that one up too. And then I do have some other arcs that I would like to get to. We will see what happens. I have 3 middle grade arcs that I had picked up in New York City Comic Con. They all look great, so we'll see if I get to them. I don't know if I'll read all of them, but we'll see. The first one is Spark by Sarah Beth Durst. I've been wanting to read something by Sarah Beth Durst, and this might be a good introduction. This is coming out through HMH Kids. It's a middle grade fantasy novel involving dragons, like storm beast dragons, and this young girl, and it looks really fun. Like, I'm sure I would love it, so that's a possibility I would like to pick up. I also have The Strangers by Margaret Peterson Haddix. This is coming out on April 19th, and it just sounds really interesting. Also, I don't think I've really read anything by her, and I know she's really big in middle grade books about the Greystone siblings, and then they hear a news report about these 3 missing children who are an exact match to who they are, and so they're starting to wonder if there's something that they don't know. So it sounds intriguing, so I may pick that one up. And then the last one of the middle grade books that I might pick up is The Last Day of Summer by Lamar Giles. Again, this one is coming out in April, and this sounds like so much fun. It's about these 2 black boys who wish that summer wouldn't end, and so the last day of summer before school keeps going, like a Groundhog Day type thing, except crazy things start happening, and so it seems like it's going to be a really, really fun one. Okay, then guys, I am determined to read this in April. I am kicking myself for having had so many other books that I had to read. So this is going to happen one way or another. I am going to read Blood Witch by Susan Dennard. This is probably my most anticipated read of 2018, and I'm so sad that I haven't been able to read it yet. I really want to, so I'm going to make this a priority. You know, I might even put this in my Fantasyathon TBR because I just really want to read it. So I'm going to make this happen. I love this series so much. Okay, there are other books that are on my radar, things that I might get to that I'd like to pick up, but I think we're just going to leave it at that for now. That's like a pretty good selection. Like I said, I may not read all of them, but hopefully most of them. Yeah, I guess that's it. So talk to me in the comments down below. Let me know any of your thoughts on these books. Tell me if you're participating in Fantasyathon, and if you guys would be interested in seeing me vlog Fantasyathon. I may, depending on how crazy my life is at that point. So no promises, but possibly. Yeah, and question of the day, let me know, what book are you really excited to pick up in April? If you guys like this video, give it a thumbs up, subscribe if you want to see more. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you guys next time.